Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and thanks for being here today. So today I'm going to talk about why it's important to believe in yourself. So do you believe in you? Do you believe in you really? Seriously, do you? Because, you might wonder why it's important to believe in yourself. And the really simple answer to that is, well, nobody else will. You have to be the one to believe in you because you can't count on anybody else to do that. Your spouse and your family, they believe in you to an extent, but sometimes when things get tough, your family support tends to wane. It's not that they don't love you or care about you. It's just that they stop believing that maybe you were going to be able to do it or maybe you would do it. And while this it doesn't happen all the time. It happens often enough that it becomes a conflict sometimes. An example is like sometimes, like if you're starting a new business or a new venture and your spouse or your parents or even your friends, they give you support on that new venture. But then when it doesn't work out as they believe it should, then they start to question about whether you should continue with this, whether you should continue on, or you run into a hard spot and they're like, oh, maybe you should give up on it. But if your belief starts to weaken, then you may take on their way of thinking. And that's not good. That's why you have to believe in you. The reason why the reason why some of your friends and family, why they don't always believe in you and why their beliefs weaken is that fear of the unknown. So when you start a new venture, everyone's excited for you and they'll tell you to give it your best shot. However, when the prospects of the business become murkier, that excitement turns to fear. Another thing about your friends and family is they've seen you at your worst. They remember all the times that you have made decisions that maybe weren't so good, or they maybe have seen you try other businesses in the past and you didn't have success in those. And so they don't believe that you're going to have the success in this one because maybe you didn't put the effort in last time. A perfect example of that, I have a girl on my team, and I'm not going to call anybody out here, but I have a girl on my team and I was on a Zoom call with her because she doesn't live near me. And we were talking about an upcoming incentive that Avon is offering. And I says, you're right in the line. You can make this happen. And her husband was sitting in the background. They were in her office. And they had two computers there. And he said, oh, that's not going to happen. She's not going to make that happen. And you know what? She didn't make it happen. Now, I don't know, he kind of insinuated that she just wouldn't put the extra effort in because she was a top seller. She's a top seller. She's a top recruiter. She's actually one of the top people in my business. So don't take me wrong. She's absolutely successful, right? But in order to earn this trip, she was going to have to stretch. And I think her husband was saying, well, she's comfortable where she's at. She's not going to stretch. And I don't know if she just believed him or if she just wasn't willing to stretch. I don't know, but she didn't do it. And again, so that was just a perfect example, though, of, maybe your husband or your spouse or your kid, your parents or whoever, they might, they've seen what you've done in the past. And they maybe don't believe that you're going to do what's required, so they might, the problem is that the path towards success in any kind of venture, it's not a straight line. It's never a straight line, right? It's always the path to success is down, up, down. It's just how it is, right? And having bumps in the road is normal. In fact, that's what defines the success. That's what defines the success of any business, right? The people who are taking the risks should be welcomed and not feared. But when it comes to your family, that's not always true, right? So all of those experiences that you've had in your life, or that you maybe bad decisions you've made, or maybe good decisions you've made, or maybe other businesses you've tried where you haven't been successful, or other ventures. I don't know. Maybe you try to learn the piano or something. I mean, I took some electronics classes in college, and no matter what, I could not seem to wrap my head around it. I could do the math just fine, but I couldn't get the math out of the circuit. I could not figure out how to get the numbers out of the circuit. And so I flunked that class. I was horribly flunking. And so, just because you've had failures in the past doesn't mean that you're going to continue to have them, right? But so some of those things that you've experienced in the past, all of those things, they lead you up to where you are now. And that might be what might help you be more successful this time. And so that fear of unknown might start to creep in your mind. And when you're starting something new, you're always going to run into rough patches. It's just how it is, right? Things will get hard and you'll come up against roadblocks. It's just part of bettering yourself, whether it's in a new business or whatever it is you're working towards. If you're trying to do something better for yourself, or you're trying to learn something new, or you're trying to do a new business, people are going to, they're going to give you, they're going to tell you not to do it. I mean, sometimes it might be, you might be opening a coffee shop and somebody, your friends and family might say, in Utah, nobody in Utah drinks coffee. But that's not true. It's just they're looking out for your interests. And so don't listen to them. Don't let them go, because they're going to continue to tell you all these negative things until you decide to stop. And that could cause you to give up, right? So that's precisely the moment when you shouldn't stop. That's precisely when you need to keep going. And I'm sorry, I'm losing myself here. So people never get ahead by quitting. It just doesn't happen. You can't quit your way to success. And so if you believe in yourself, if you have that conviction to see it through, and you have the appropriate guidance that you can give that can give you the strength to surge ahead, you absolutely can do this. You can do all of it while telling your friends and family, hey, just trust me, just back off, trust me, I'm going to make this happen. And you have the ability even to decide to do it without them. You have the ability to say, well, I'm going to prove them wrong, right? And a firm belief in yourself is what's going to make that possible. That's how you're going to be able to do that. And so whatever it is, you've got to have that courage. You've got to decide that you believe in you, and you have to have that strong belief in you. That's really critical. So whatever it is that you decide to pursue, know that only by continuing, only by going through the failures and the successes is what's going to make it work, right? Think of Thomas Edison, think about his contribution to the light bulb. Now, I know he didn't actually invent the light bulb, but, and I know everybody thinks he did, but he made ones that lasted longer. So maybe somebody else invented it, but he bettered it, right? And so imagine if he decided to quit after he ran into a few stumbling blocks, because I don't care who it is, you look at famous people who have done different things, every one of them have ran into stumbling blocks. So what about you? I mean, do you believe in you? You have to believe in you if you want to be successful. So share with me, how are you guys doing? I mean, what do you do when you're feeling when you don't have that self-confidence, you don't have that self-belief? What ideas do you have that you use to build up your self-belief when you need to? What do you do when you're feeling scared or unsure? Get down below and tell me. I'd love to hear it. And I really would. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.